Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Shri Radhe.
Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman.
Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra.
Jaya Nitya Sachi Suta, Jaya Nitya Sachi Suta, Jaya Nitya Sachi Suta, Jaya Nitya Sachi Suta.
Jaya Nitai Satchita, Jaya Nitai Satchita, Jaya Nitai Satchita, Jaya Nitai Satchita.
Jaya Nitya Gaura Chandra, Jaya Nitya Gaura Chandra, Jaya Nitya Gaura Chandra, Jaya Nitya Gaura Chandra,
Jaya Nitai Gaurachandra, Jaya Nitai Gaurachandra, Jaya Nitai Gaurachandra, Jaya Nitai Gaurachandra.
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Should I get started, Prabhu? Yes, okay. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. It's a cold Saturday afternoon, and there's a storm coming tomorrow. So thank you again for being here. Thank you to Bhai Hari Prabhu and Indulekha Mataji. My deepest gratitude to them for encouraging us to speak at this forum and for training us how to. So thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. I'm grateful for your guidance and shelter. And so I'll get started with Mangala Charana. I do have a PowerPoint that I will share just for reference as I go along. Om Gyantimirandhasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave
Gurave Namah.
Shri
Shri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Manavishtam
Manavishtam
Stapitam
Stapitam
Yena
Yena
Bhutale
Bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kadamayam
Rupakanayam
Dadati
Dadati Swapadam
Swapadantikam Vandeham
Vandeham
Shri
Shri
Gurun Shri
Gurun
Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha
Vaishnavamscha
Shri Rupam
Rupam
Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam
Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam
Sahaganaraghunathanvitam
Sajivam Sadvetam
Sadvaitam
Savadutam
Savadutam
Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Paritasahitam
Shri Radha Krishna
Krishna
Padan
Padam
Gana Lalita Shri
Sarvabhauma
Vishakhanvitam
Vishakhanvitam
He Krishna
Krishna
Karuna
Karuna
Sindhu
Sindhu
Dinabandhu Jagat
Jagate
Gopesha
Gopika
Gopika Kanta
Gopika Radhankar
Radhakamustute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhansute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascha Tadeshataya. I'll share my screen. Is everybody able to see my screen? Okay. Just make sure I'm in display mode here.
Not yet.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Oh, you see that? Or maybe I'm on the.
Okay. You're able to see now, Prabhu? Okay. And you see not the display mode, but the actual full screen?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for confirming. Okay. So I thought that, we had all discussed what topic we should approach as Gaur Purnima is coming and Nityananda Trayodashi is coming. And we decided as a group with Prabhuji's blessing that we'll talk about Lord Chaitanya and his pastimes. And so today, my topic for discussion is who is a Vaishnava? And this is a glimpse into the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So this is going to be interactive, Prabhu. So I encourage you to unmute and speak or raise your hand if that's an easier way to indicate that you'd like to say something. And please feel free to interrupt and offer comments. Okay, so just to set the stage, I wanted to show these two pictures and wanted to ask the group what they thought was going on in the picture on the right side. So if anybody would like to offer who they think the personality is on the right and what they are doing, and think Lord Chaitanya.
Advaitacharya?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. And Bhayari Prabhu, would you like to say something?
Yes, Mataji, I was going to say the same thing. It's Advaitacharya praying for the advent of
Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So yeah, tomorrow is the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya prayed to his Shalagram Shila and offered the Shila tulsi leaves and Ganges water and prayed for the advent of Mahaprabhu. And on the left is a picture of Sachi Mata with baby Mahaprabhu sitting on her lap, and all the ladies and devotees of Navadvip coming to offer blessings to Nimai. So this is another picture and we are all familiar with this. We know that Mahaprabhu came to give something that's very confidential. He's known as Prema Purushottam. So he's the one who came to give us love of Godhead. And he did that predominantly through chanting, congregational chanting of the holy names. Now, Krishna is known as Leela Purushottam. You know, he performed many pastimes. And Lord Ram is known as Maryada Purushottam. He was one of noble and ideal character. So we are all familiar that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, shown here in yellow and blue, would go, street to street, house to house, chanting the glories of Krishna. So I'm just setting the stage here, so this will all hopefully come together. But this is another picture. Actually, I played with ChatGPT today and asked ChatGPT if it could give me a pictorial representation of Mahaprabhu's travel. And it did a pretty decent job. I had to keep editing Mahaprabhu's picture because, it wasn't so familiar with Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi. But essentially, Mahaprabhu traveled, many times, but he took a large tour of South India after becoming a sannyasi, and then he eventually settled in Jagannath Puri. So can anyone here recollect how many years Mahaprabhu remained in Jagannath Puri? And it's okay to take a guess.
18 years.
That's correct, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. So Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri for 18 years. And during those 18 years, he used to participate in the Jagannath Rath Yatra. So Mahaprabhu was a brilliant organizer. He would organize these parties of devotees, each of whom had a certain number of mridangas, certain number of kartals, and he would identify exactly who would be the lead dancer in the party and who would be sort of their posse. And so there were multiple parties like this in front of the Rath Yatra cart, and Mahaprabhu himself would dance very beautifully amidst all of the devotees in front of the Rath Yatra cart. So now, after we know why Mahaprabhu came, that Mahaprabhu traveled and settled in Jagannath Puri for 18 years and organized Rath Yatra, I wanted to take a slight pivot and talk about the branches of the Chaitanya tree. So as we know, Mahaprabhu had many associates, many devotees helping him. And these are described in the chapter 10 of the Adi Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Srila Prabhupada, originally written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. The branches are described of the Chaitanya tree. And the 20th branch of this tree was Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur himself had many associates. So I don't expect the devotees to read through these verses. I will explain here. So the sub-branch of Haridas Thakur was comprised of certain devotees, and their names were Satyaraj Khan or Satyaraj Vasu. And he and his son, Ramanand Vasu, were really the recipients of mercy of Haridas Thakur. And they lived in this village called Kulinagram. And Mahaprabhu had extreme affection for the devotees of Kulinagram. He said that even a dog living in Kulinagram was extremely dear to him because these devotees were Vaishnavas and they were sincere and they were completely devoted to the Lord. So one time what happened was, as you can see here on the left, this is Lord Jagannath coming out of the temple, being loaded onto the rath, onto the cart. So when they do that, they grab Lord Jagannath. He's very heavy. So they grab him with ropes and cotton pads. And if you have seen the videos of the Rath Yatra, they have this kind of motion.
Alexa,
Forward,
can you
backward.
tell us a
And
funny
you know,
story?
I'll be Alexa. So they carry Lord Jagannath back and forth onto the Rath Yatra cart. So one time, when this was happening, the ropes broke. So this ceremony is called Pandu Vijay, where these pandas or the members of the Jagannath temple are carrying Lord Jagannath. These ropes broke. So the cotton pads that were supporting Lord Jagannath also broke. So at that time, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan were present there from Kulinagram, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them an order. So Lord Chaitanya said to them, and again, I don't expect you to read, these are just for reference. He showed them these broken silken ropes and said, just look at this sample. You have to make ropes that are much stronger. So Kulinagram is in Bengal, and even till date, Bengal is known for its textile, for fabric. So he said that you have to bring me rope that is stronger. And Mahaprabhu then informed Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan that this rope is actually the abode of Anantashesh. So just as Anantashesh is supporting Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, that this rope is supporting Jagannath. So you have to bring a better quality of rope. And Satyaraj Khan and Ramanand Vasu were very, very happy in receiving this direct instruction from Mahaprabhu. So every year, as we know, prior to Rath Yatra, so if you have been to Puri, there is a straight road between Jagannath temple, where Jagannath temple is at one end, and Gundicha temple is at the other end. So every year, the Gundicha temple is cleansed, thoroughly cleansed, so that during Rath Yatra, Jagannath can go from Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple. And Mahaprabhu would personally clean this temple. And that is another pastime of how he cleansed the various layers, and it's akin to cleansing our heart. So he personally cleansed the temple, and all the devotees from Kulinagram would come every year during this time and bring this silken robe. So just another reference. So Kulinagram is across the Ganges in Navadvip in Bengal, and they would walk and take a boat and then walk again to Jagannath Puri, which we know is on the coast in Orissa. So at Jagannath Puri, and this is the crux of this conversation, is that at Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu would meet a number of devotees, and he would have conversations with all the devotees. So he would sit down and talk to different groups of devotees coming from Bengal. He would give them his personal attention. He would answer their questions. And so the crux of this talk, sort of the center point of this talk, is this conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the residents of Kulinagram. So I will read here from CC Madhya 15:101. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking to the residents of Kulinagram. He says, "To say nothing of you, even a dog living in your village is very dear to me. What then to speak of others?" So Mahaprabhu validated and praised the residents of Kulinagram. And then after this, the two residents, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan, both asked Mahaprabhu some questions. So the first year, this is the question that they asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Grihastha Vishaya Ami Kimura Sadhane Srimukhe Agyakara Prabhu Nividi Charane. Satyaraj Khan said, "My dear Lord, being a householder and a materialistic man, I do not know the process of advancing in spiritual life. I therefore submit myself unto your lotus feet and request you to give me orders." So a question for the group is, where else in scripture do we find something similar where a personality submits to Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Yes, Piyali Mataji.
So we can see that in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna, he's distressed, and then he offers his obeisances and he says, "Hey, I submit to your lotus feet to Lord Krishna and request you to give me directions about what is my duty, what is the right thing to do." So
Yes.
that's where I can see a parallelism.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Satyaraj Khan is directly admitting to the Lord. He is taking this position of humility, and he says that I'm a householder and a materialistic man, and I really don't know the process of advancing in spiritual life. And he's asking a question many of us have asked ourselves, like, how do we move forward in our spiritual life? So to this, Mahaprabhu replies, "Prabhu kahena Krishna seva Vaishnav sevana Nirantara Krishna Nama Sankirtana." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Without cessation, continue chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Whenever possible, serve him and his devotees, the Vaishnavas." So there are beautiful commentaries to these verses written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that Srila Prabhupada quotes in his version of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So actually, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta also translated the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Prabhupada translated it a second time for us. If you read Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's writings, they are very eloquent, sometimes difficult to understand. But Srila Prabhupada's CC has been really simplified and yet has all the potency. So it's easier for us to understand. So here, what does Nirantara mean?
Always, forever.
Always, forever. But what does Prabhupada translate it as?
Continuous.
Okay, continuous chant. Continue chanting without cessation.
Without interruption.
Without interruption. But he also, the way the verse is written, if you look at the synonyms, he, instead of using Nirantara there, he says whenever possible. So Srila Prabhupada is very magnanimous, and he makes all sorts of accommodations for us because he knows where we are, where we stand. So there's one story that my spiritual master, Giriraj Swami, tells in this regard, that he was once chanting and he was just thinking how he's struggling, he's getting distracted, that he's committing an offense to the holy name. And then he reread his initiation letter. And in his initiation letter, Srila Prabhupada had said, as far as possible, avoid the offenses to the holy name. And he felt amazed, he was amazed by that. He felt like Srila Prabhupada had really saved him. What mattered was that he was doing his best. And, Srila Prabhupada hadn't said to him that never or absolutely not, because then he would be transgressing the order of his guru. But what he said was as far as possible, allowing him to do his best in avoiding the offenses. So once Satyaraj Khan heard this, his next question was, how can I recognize a Vaishnava? Please let me know what a Vaishnava is and what are his common symptoms. So again, I will ask the group, have you heard this anywhere else in any other scripture?
In Bhagavad Gita, regarding Smrita Prajna, how does he say it? What does he talk like that? Arjuna asks the questions.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, yeah. We've heard this. Who is a dhira? Who is a sthita pragya? So in response to this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, whoever chants the holy name of Krishna just once is worshipable and is the topmost human being. So Mahaprabhu is saying that if you just take the name of Krishna once, you are worshipable and the topmost human being. And in the purport, one interesting paragraph is there where Srila Prabhupada says that a devotee, if they believe that the holy name of Krishna is Krishna himself, is a pure devotee, even though he might be in the neophyte stage. So you may be a neophyte, but if you have faith that the holy name of Krishna and Krishna are the same, then Srila Prabhupada says that you're a pure devotee. That was very difficult for me to understand. Because when I think of a pure devotee, I'm thinking of someone who's completely sold to the process. So it's amazing that you can be in the neophyte stage and yet be a pure devotee on the basis of your faith. Okay, so the next year, the same thing happened. So now, fast forward 1 year, the residents of Kulinagram went back at the end of the 4 months of Chaturmasya after having conversations with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after Rath Yatra. And then in the next year, they came back. So these are their questions. Again, as in the previous year, one of the inhabitants of Kulinagram submitted a petition to the Lord saying, "My Lord, kindly tell me what my duty is and how I should execute it." So similar question as is last year. I'm a householder. What should I do? Tell me what my duty is. And to this, Mahaprabhu responded. He said, the Lord replied, "You should engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet." So again, similar instructions that you should serve the devotees and always chant the holy name of Krishna. So now the residents of Kulinagram again ask the same question. They say, "Please let me know who is actually a Vaishnava and what his symptoms are." So understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and gave the following reply. "Krishna nama nirantara yanraha vadane, say Vaishnava shreshta bhaja tanhara charane." A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. So does anybody notice the difference between the responses given last time and this time? Would you like to recap what was said last time and this time?
Last time Mahaprabhu said at least once if someone chants, he is to be considered topmost human being.
Mm-hmm.
Here Mahaprabhu mentioned a person who is always chanting the holy name.
Right. Yeah, that's correct, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah. So basically,
Ramkatha Prabhu is back.
yes.
Ramkatha Prabhu, finger on your lips.
So basically, the word nirantara is used again here. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport explains that nirantara means without cessation, but another meaning of antara is body. So nirantara, because the body can be an impediment in the practice of devotional service sometimes. Another meaning of antara is money. So if money is not used in Krishna's service, that's also an impediment. Another meaning of antara is people in general. So someone who might be averse to the process or might be too engrossed in the world their association may not be the best for us on the path of devotional service. And antara also may mean greed. So the greed to acquire more money can also be an impediment to devotional service. And finally, the word antara may also mean atheistic ideas. So if you consider the deity in the temple to be made of stone or wood or gold and not a person, then that can also be an impediment in devotional service. So the word nirantara has many meanings that are described in the purport. Okay, so moving to year 3. So now the devotees from Kulina Gram are coming back a third time. And now they are asking the same question. Who is a Vaishnava? And now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, a first-class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna. So now Mahaprabhu has answered the same question, who is a Vaishnava, 3 times, 3 years in a row, with subtle differences in the answer. So why is Mahaprabhu doing this? What is he trying to tell us here?
I
Maybe
think he's
sorry,
sorry.
Madhu, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think maybe as we progress, the definition might change a bit for us. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was thinking on the same lines. Maybe it's talking about stages of progress and how, I mean, when you were talking about this, the first verse is an instruction to yourself, right? It talks about whenever possible, engage yourself in chanting. The second verse talks about the Vaishnava more, and it tells you that what your mood should be in terms of the Vaishnava, meaning you have to serve that person. And then this verse to me is talking about association, that you should take association from the Vaishnava.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
Another thought, Mataji, like initially Mahaprabhu advising to start devotional service and first perfect one's own life and then go for preaching. The same airport mask example.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Just thought.
Thank you. Anybody else who hasn't spoken?
I feel like, in addition to what Padmini Radha said, I feel like basically all these instructions are for us, right? So I think it encompasses all the people that could be at different stages of their bhakti or their lives or the devotion process. So just a thought.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, really, Mataji. You're muted, Mataji.
I think the devotees of Kulina Gram are asking the same question again and again, right? So so obviously that means they still are not convinced that they are very good Vaishnavas. So it's Mahaprabhu is giving them subsequent instructions to go forward on the path of being a better Vaishnava. Because otherwise, why are they asking the same question? That's one. And why is the response changing with every year? That's my take on it.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very good.
Also, I think the earlier aspects are probably when it comes to dealing with other Vaishnavas. So the injunction is to give more latitude.
Hmm.
And the later is when it comes to self-evaluation or looking at one's own progress,
Hmm.
to be more rigid.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, so I'll just go back here and let's look at the three statements again. So the first one was, whoever chants the holy name of Krishna just once is worshipable and is the topmost human being. The second one is, a person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. And the third one is, a first-class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada makes the comment in the purport to these verses that these three responses, and you were all correct, refer to the different adhikars of the devotee. So Kanishta Adhikari, in this, by this definition, is someone who just chants the holy name once. A Madhyama Adhikari is one who chants continuously. And an Uttama Adhikari is one by whose presence, just by their presence, it makes you chant the holy name of Krishna. So, you know, this principle of progressing, and as Bhayari Prabhu was saying, evaluating ourselves, you know, what is the practical sort of takeaway from this? We hear this Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, you know, and you know, in one practical sense, a devotee always thinks of themselves as a Kanishta, right? Like we're always thinking, we're just starting, we're just beginning. But Kanishta, Uttama, and Madhyama and Uttama Adhikari are defined a little bit differently in the different texts. So some of you, or actually many of you here, have taken Bhakti Shastri. So you have come across this definition in the Nectar of Instruction. It is also defined in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is also defined in the Nectar of Devotion. So basically, one can be a Kanishta in one sphere. I've heard this from Mother Urmila. She says that these different definitions point to different aspects of our devotional life. And one can be a Kanishta in one sphere, but one can be a Madhyama in another sphere. You know, so it's not rigid. It's not absolute platforms. That one can be a Kanishta or a Madhyam Kanishta or an Uttama Kanishta. So just seems like a busy table, but I'll just summarize here the different definitions of Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. And the purpose of this is to look at our own selves and evaluate ourselves to see where we stand. So we just went through the definition by Chaitanya Charitamrita, which refers to the chanting definition and the attachment to the holy names. The second category, these are verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, also quoted in the Nectar of Instruction, Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 45 to 47. These definitions of Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama are characteristics with regards to deity worship and to the devotees. So a Kanishta Adhikari is one who worships the deities but doesn't honor the devotees. A Madhyam Adhikari actually loves the Lord and knows how to discriminate between the different categories of devotees. So he befriends the devotees, he shows mercy to the innocent, and he avoids the envious. And an Uttama Adhikari sees all beings in relation to the Supreme Lord and sees the Lord as present in everyone's heart. In the Nectar of Instruction, verse 5, and everyone here is familiar with this, the Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, we are taught how do we deal with these levels of devotees? How do we recognize and deal? So in NOI, it's mentioned that one should mentally honor the Kanishta Adhikari, mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances onto the lotus feet of the Madhyama Adhikari, one who has undergone spiritual initiation. And one should associate with and faithfully serve the Uttama Adhikari. This is what should be our attitude towards the three categories of devotees. And in the nectar of devotion, the same Vaishnavas are described as having initial faith, firm and steady faith, and then ultimately prema bhakti. So these three categories of devotees can be defined by different aspects of their devotional life. Radhanath Maharaj says that devotional life is dynamic. It's not static. And we keep evolving in our devotion. And if we don't evolve, that we will actually end up going backwards, because there's no static or stagnant place to remain. If we are not evolving spiritually, then material life is pulling us. These different platforms, Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, are all for us to see how we are evolving in our spiritual life. Okay. So the other practical application of this conversation between Satyaraj Khan and Ramananda Vasu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, how do we balance our material and spiritual lives as a Grihastha devotee? Because as Satyaraj Khan started out saying, he said, I'm a materialistic and a householder devotee, and what should I do? What is my duty? So let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so if everyone can get their phone out. If you're on your phone, I don't know how this will work. Perhaps you can write your response on the chat. But if you can scan this QR code and answer this question, what are common problems or obstacles in material life that don't allow us to progress in our spiritual life? I see some responses coming in. Material things, attraction. Excuses of current responsibilities. Thank you. If it's too difficult to get on the link, you can just type your response in the chat. Thoughts, yes. The mind.
I just put mine in the WhatsApp group. I don't know how to do this QR thing
Yes,
because I'm on my cell phone.
Yes, Babaji, I'll look at on the phone. Balancing material desires, yes. Distractions, attraction for the illusory, yes. The fact that we see them as material activities. Yeah. Great, thank you. Not consistent in effort. Yeah. Okay, all right. So thank you all for your responses. And so, I was listening to a talk by Mother Urmila, and she summarized this very nicely. So I took some of these points from her talk. She said we have 4 major problems, common problems, sort of the large categories in our life. And all of you alluded to this in your responses. So we have difficulty with absorbing ourselves in Krishna, because there are just too many distractions. The mind is going haywire sometimes, and it may be related to time. We just don't have the kind of time and space and energy to absorb ourselves fully. Actually, Sachinandan Swami, we went to a holy name retreat with him one time. And he said that, one of the offenses to the holy name is to not have complete faith in the glories of the holy name. And so he was making the point that because we don't feel that, on a day-to-day basis, we actually start believing that the holy name is not going to be able to give us everything. That Krishna consciousness is not, because we are not feeling that, we're not transcendentally absorbed. We also tend to separate our lives. Even in the title, I said material life and spiritual life. We tend to separate the buckets. I know a teenager devotee who had 2 sections in her closet: material clothes and spiritual clothes. So it's very common, and we do this. We think that this is temple life, this is work life. So we think life is separate from our service. We have lack of time. And then, as many people mentioned here, that we have attachment to things or attractions that may be opposed to our spiritual life. And Mother Urmila offers 4 possible solutions. And I will summarize these quickly. So she says the possible solutions are: we have to think of Krishna more. That is, we are not being able to absorb ourselves transcendentally, so we have to think of Krishna more. And I'll get into it a little bit more. We have to use this life for service. It's one life, and we have to take everything we do as service. We should attempt to live a pure life. And this is in response to being engaged in activities that are seemingly in opposition to Krishna consciousness. And then we should manage our time and our priorities. So getting into this here, the practical applications. So thinking of Krishna. So thinking of Krishna as a practice. One example that she gives is that every day we can think of Krishna in one thing we do. And she gave this example of a man who was suffering from indigestion. And Krishna says he is the fire in the belly, something similar like that in Bhagavad Gita. So, she said that you can even think of Krishna when you're having indigestion. You can even think of Krishna when you're drinking water. So she was giving these wonderful examples. We can think of Krishna once during the day when we look at something. Because we read about Krishna. We read Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, and Krishna describes himself in so many ways. The men, when they look at their wives, can think Krishna is fame, fortune, memory, intelligence, and fine speech in my wife. So, Krishna shows us that he's present. Obviously, those of us who have deities and we do deity worship, we can think of Krishna as we are doing deity worship. The second point is life as service. So actually, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Jaiva Dharma, he says that sannyas and grihastha ashram are external designations. These are external designation, external categories. What matters is what's in the heart. And we should try to focus fully on serving Krishna's plan, regardless of our external position. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he describes this one verse in the Bhagavatam. It is a verse that says by Prahlad Maharaj. One of the lines is Sthane Sthita Shrutigatam Tanvan Manobhir. And Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, because he's such a genius with words, he says, from your place, at your pace, achieve the grace. So we are all individuals. From our place, at our own pace, we are going to achieve the grace. But we have to use our life in service. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to Jayapataka Maharaj, and I'm just going to read 2 lines from the letter. He said, whatever is meant to be, a surrendered devotee sees that everything is part of Krishna's plan. Let me do it with my full attention to every detail. Let me become absorbed in such service Never mind what it is. Let all considerations be forgotten, and my only desire is to do the best for Krishna's pleasure alone. So, whatever, even if we're working at our workplace, we can try to remind ourselves that this is also service. Living a pure life. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that everything has taste. We're doing something because we're getting some taste from that. Everything has a rasa. So we have to slowly but surely create a higher taste. And Mother Urmila's recommendation here is that we should have regular recreation that is part of spiritual life, and that involves association with devotees. Whether that's, getting together with devotees and going on a hike, whether that's playing tennis. I know for a fact that when Indradyumna Maharaj he still goes to Poland for his Polish tour festivals. He, in the morning, would go because the body needs exercise. So he and some other Prabhupada disciples would go for a swim in the morning together. So whatever recreation we do, we can do it in the association of devotees. And Mother Urmila also encourages us to engage our emotions in the service of Krishna. That what you like to do, what gives you pleasure, you should try to do it for Krishna. I see Piali Mataji crocheting for Krishna. So that's wonderful. Yeah. And then, time management. There are many references here, but we have to be creative and flexible with our time. We have to figure out how to prioritize Krishna. We can't do everything. But we can try to put Krishna first. The common analogy given is if you take a jar and you first fill it up with rocks, and then you put the sand later, you'll be able to put much more in the jar than trying to put the sand first and then the rock. So Krishna is like the rock, the big rock that goes in first in the jar. And there is this purport in the 7th canto where Srila Prabhupada specifically states that we should try to work 8 hours a day. In other places, I've heard 12 hours, somewhere between 8 to 12 hours, but not more than 12 hours. Even if we work 12 hours, then it hardly leaves any time for us to engage in our Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so with that, I hope that this conversation of Mahaprabhu and the devotees of Kulina Gram has helped us understand that Mahaprabhu's life and his teachings are very practical. They set a framework and they set goals for us as devotees. Who is a Vaishnava? We have a path to follow. We may have chanted the name of Krishna once. We may be continuously chanting the name of Krishna, and there are some devotees whose presence makes others chant. So, but Mahaprabhu's instructions of chanting and serving the devotees are of supreme importance. In our own lives, we should endeavor to become attached to the holy names and the devotees. And practically, we should evaluate the impediments to our growth. If those 4 common problems affect us, then we can use those 4 solutions to change our lives and dovetail them with our ultimate goal. So thank you so much for your attention and for being here. And I'll stop sharing to see if there's any conversation or discussion.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It was such a wonderful start for the next couple of series on Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And so wonderfully structured. Really, I loved how you opened it up and then dove into Vaishnav behavior. So I just wanted to ask Mataji, so you did give a couple of references for time management. how do we gauge our own progress? Is there any practical tips on like seeing like if we are really progressing? Because you did say that it has, as Radhanath Maharaj mentioned, it has to be a constant evolution. How do we know that we are on the right track? You're on mute, Mataji.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu. I think that thank you for your question. It's a very relevant and practical question. So, we always have to course correct in spiritual life. I've heard this analogy often that airplanes, they often go off track by a few degrees. You can imagine if you're a few degrees off from where you need to go, you can really land up at a very completely different place. But airplanes, they often go a few degrees off and then they course correct back to their track. So in spiritual life also, we have to gauge at intervals whether we are being successful, So I would say a few things, Prabhu. One is to introspect. I think Bayari Prabhu had said that the biggest tool, the most powerful tool in a devotee's arsenal is introspection. So, we should find time for introspection. If you journal or if you pour your reflections somewhere, you can go back and read your reflections and see what has changed, in your own self. The next step I would say is to ask your near and dear ones. That is very hard. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, the iFast devotees told me this, that Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would give everybody a pen and a notebook and ask them to go to every devotee and ask for feedback.
I remember that. Mhm.
So, that is another way. That is difficult for the ego sometimes. And the third thing I would say, Prabhu, is to ask Guru and Shiksha Gurus about your progress, to have an honest discussion about that. But even in your own life, when you're introspecting, you may be able to see that, for me personally, 12 years ago, I was not chanting. So I may not be chanting purely, but I'm chanting. So even that is a progress. So I think looking back to move forward is important. We look back to get some inspiration and then we use that to move forward. I hope that answers your question somewhat indirectly, Pooja. Yeah.
Yes, directly, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Kishori Radha. I don't have any questions particularly. I was just wanted to appreciate your efforts, and the presentation was fantastic. I loved all the pictures. They were so pleasing to the heart, and just the visual were very, they were very impactful also. And I just wanted to share that the pastimes from Kulina Gram, they're so sweet. And there is just so much rasa, and you can feel the mercy of Mahaprabhu so in everything, and when you read those pastimes. So thank you for sharing those. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bolo, Kishori Radha. I don't also have a question, but I just want to thank you for the beautiful lecture. The flow was very good. We understood, I think, where you were going with everything. And I don't know, but for me, somehow, I think I could also correlate to Krishna and Arjun's conversation and how he was confused. So I don't know, for me, there was a correlation, a sweet correlation between the two. But everything was very good. So, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the time and the effort that you've put in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Smrita.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. Really just, there was so much nectar in it. I have a question on so the second year when Satyaraj went to Lord Chaitanya and he asked the question, And Lord Chaitanya gave this response on if you do these two things, you'll soon attain this shelter of Krishna. So those two things were service to the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name. So just curious on how about the anarthas that we do? How can only these two things give us the shelter of the Lord?
Yeah, yeah. So, chanting, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote these prayers. Actually, thank you for this question because it's reminding me of this now. I really appreciate that you asked this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote a set of 8 verses. That is the only thing that's ascribed to him as his own writing. And the first verse of the Shikshashtakam talks about Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Yeah. And it talks about how the holy name cleanses the dust from the mirror of the heart so that we can actually see our own reflection. We're not even able to fully see ourselves, who we are, till we cleanse, that dirt from the heart. So chanting actually is very, very powerful, extremely powerful. And it is said that bhakti can only be given by one who has bhakti. So bhakti is given from one devotee to another. So the association of devotees is also equally powerful because only someone that has bhakti can impart bhakti to us. So those two things, they go hand in hand. So if you associate with the devotees, you would like to chant. If you chant, you would like to associate with the devotees. The last thing I will say is that sometimes in Krishna consciousness, there is a mool mantra, so to speak. Like there is, I'm forgetting the name for it. Like all of the essence of the Bhagavatam is summarized in one verse, which is where Hari Prabhu may be able to remind us. But there's one mantra that summarizes the essence of the whole scripture. Similarly, there are many things, like there are many qualities of a devotee, right? There are 26 qualities of the devotee. But there is one quality. If we have that one quality, we develop all 26 qualities. So that, for example, in the 26 qualities of the devotee, surrender to Krishna, I think, which is quality number 10. If we surrender to Krishna, we will develop everything else. We'll learn how to be meek, we'll learn how to be humble, we'll learn how to be kind, compassionate, everything. Similarly, it's the same principle that I'm trying to say, that if you do these two things, it'll give you everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Vibhul Kishori, thank you so much. That was a really nice one. And interestingly, this past week I was listening to some lectures by Braj Bihari Das of, I think he's Chapati, if I'm not wrong, or maybe he's from Lujivi. But I like his lectures in the sense that he addresses very practical life-related scenarios. And this was one of the lectures he was talking, and I think I kind of fall in that category, and that's why I could relate to that. And it was about overthinking. So when you were talking about what's it called? What's it called when you're analyzing yourself, introspecting? And I tend to maybe over introspect. So overanalyze, and then I sort of feel pulled down because I feel like, my God, I'm going nowhere. I'm, instead of going forward, upward, I'm going backwards, downwards. So so he was addressing that many times devotees will come and ask me questions like, it's been so many years, blah blah blah, and I still feel like I'm stuck, da da da. And he was saying that same thing like what Prabhupada said, that just go on chanting, and Krishna never said you have to be pure and then you can start chanting,
Hmm.
or you will start chanting purely after that. You have to keep chanting, and I will make you pure.
Hmm.
So don't. So that was something that really, I guess, it struck me and struck the chord for me, and I said, okay, fine, just
Hmm.
keep doing it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Don't
so much,
overthink.
Madhavi, for
Yeah.
that reminder. Actually, one time, Karnavdar would embarrass him a little bit. He asked Chaitanya Charan Prabhu this question. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was in Richmond, and we got to meet him, and he asked him this question about humility. That, how do maybe he can speak himself, but how do I become humble? Or, he had been thinking about humility a lot. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu said, just why are you thinking so much about it? Just keep doing what you're doing. Because sometimes what you said, Mataji, we think about it and we think we're not humble, and then we are in that mental cycle of not being humble. Whereas we have a process, and life humbles us, and devotees also humble us sometimes.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So, and then the one thing that you said about Krishna making us pure, so that reminded me, Guru Maharaj tells the story that once Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada that what if, a devotee is on their deathbed and can't think of Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada's response to that was that Lord Chaitanya will forcefully enter the mind of that devotee.
Hari Hari Bo.
And, even if the material circumstances seem like that the devotee is not able to.
Right.
Krishna.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you,
Mahaprabhu ki
Mataji.
jai. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Kishori. Hari Bo.
Hari uncle has his hand raised.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Haribol, Haribol. Thank you, Kishore. The wonderful class, and such a nice, pleasing presentation, and engaging talk. I had a question regarding so the progress of Vaishnavas from like neophyte to intermediate to advanced. Also here that example of mango, right? That's green and then ripe, and it happens on its own. And I'm trying to figure out how much of it, how much of the progress is how much of the progress happens on its own, how much of it is basically endeavor, what's the balance between the two. Sometimes we endeavor and get frustrated, or sometimes we get too complacent, thinking that the process will carry us. Is there any way to balance the two?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu, for such an amazing question. And I hope I could ask you this question. And maybe perhaps you will offer some comments as well. But I think, Prabhu, that we should endeavor in our Krishna consciousness. But I feel that even in Uttama Adhikari, if they are introspecting, they're probably thinking they're on the neophyte platform. So I feel that some of these designations one can readily notice in another devotee. But for oneself, one always feels like one is not making that much progress. But I do think, Prabhu, like the two-finger analogy that Guru Maharaj often says, that it's your endeavor and Krishna's mercy. And for some of us, I feel, some people progress very naturally. They are very determined in their practice. They are progressing. They are gaining perspective from the Shastra. For people like me who are stubborn, I think that when challenges come my way, that's a way for me to test myself. Like that's when, if I'm losing it completely in the midst of a challenge or not, is often a litmus test for me personally, Prabhu. But yeah, I think that it's hard, Prabhu. I feel that it's hard to do it for oneself, and one needs help to analyze.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Martha. Yeah, that helps. I think, as you're saying, it's probably a happy combination of endeavor and mercy, the two fingers.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Prabhu.
Someone is at the doorbell.
Hare Krishna Kishore Radha. This is
Hare
Bindu.
Krishna, Bindu Mataji.
So I have this when I started Krishna consciousness, it was like initially that you just have to chant and you've automatically entered Krishna conscious journey. And then after some time, it's like, no, you have to take Bhakti Shastri class, and then you have to read Srimad Bhagavatam, and then you have to cook. Um, and then you have to do seva. So there's all these components, and sometimes the mind plays games with us, with me, thinking that it's a goalpost. How do I get away from the mindset of goalpost to a journey that I want to enjoy, wherein I include all of these, hopefully, maybe someday, like, into my daily life and enjoy the process of Krishna conscious journey rather than a goalpost. Sometimes, like, honestly speaking, I feel like, being like, I don't want a lot of things on my to-do bucket list. So I just want to scratch off bucket list. And then it's like, oh, I have not done this today. I've not done this today. So maybe I'm not in Krishna consciousness anymore. I'm not feeling, so something to enjoy this journey with like, like, you're chanting 16 rounds non-attentively, but still continue the process. You're able to do half an hour of Bhagavatam, just read that every day continuously. How do like incorporate all those components of the Krishna conscious into the journey?
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for that question. Yeah, Mataji, we in this modern world, as you said, we're very goal-oriented. We want results. Some of us, like me, we want results to have happened yesterday. The effort is happening today, Sometimes we just want results. But I think, Mataji, Srila Prabhupada, I'm just reminded of this. Just an example, and I'll draw a parallel here. When they were coming up with the deity worship manual, Srila Prabhupada had one instruction for the devotees. He said, keep it simple. So even for us, we have to keep it simple. And the way we keep it simple is individual. We have to think for ourselves, like even for our deities. What is our, what do we do for our deities? I feel this goal issue comes up personally for myself when I'm setting very lofty goals. I'll give you an example. I'm part of some of my friends, my God family. They wanted to read Srimad Bhagavatam in 1 year or 2 years. It's 21 pages a day, if you read 21 pages a day. So many of us said, yes, we're up for it. Guess how many pages we've read? We haven't. Because I feel like sometimes we set ourselves up for failure. We have to set ourselves up for really practical, short-term goals. I'll give you one more example. So I'm working with my residents at work today. And neurology residents, they are forever in the hospital. And they have an annual exam that they have to take. So many of them don't get to study, especially the junior level residents, they have no time. So they don't get to study. So I was talking to them and I was asking them, what is realistic for you? What can you do? And 99% of them said to me that they would study for 2 hours 1 week and then not study for 8 weeks. So I said to them, okay, can you study for 30 minutes a week? Just 30 minutes a week. And if you study for 30 minutes a week, you will have studied 26 hours a year, which is not what you would achieve if you studied 2 hours 1 week and didn't study the rest of the time. So I guess the point I'm making there, Mataji, is that and Rajvihari Prabhu said this to me when I was first having a conversation with him about not being able to read. He said to me, you read just 15 minutes a day, just 15 minutes, but read well, read with attention, put away your phone. So I feel like sometimes we're setting such lofty goals that we feel like we're a failure and we're not meeting our goals. Does that help, Mataji? I don't know if that was too tangential.
Yes, thank you so much. That really helps, setting up small goals or achievable goals.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rashmi?
Hare Krishna, Kishori Prabhu. Thank you so much for that lovely talk. And yeah, some of your answers are also very practical and very applicable. Yeah, my question was more about, how you said we. And by the way, the verse that I posted, I think that I'm just guessing that, you were referring to that when you said this is the essence of the scripture. There is like an essence verse, right? This verse comes again and again,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we have to chant and remember Krishna at all times.
Yeah, I was referring to 1:3:28. I will definitely look this verse
Oh,
up.
1:3:28. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, you mean the Paribhashika verse that Krishna is the Supreme Personality? Godhead?
Correct.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question was more about more practical question as well about how like the office environment is just so different, and it's so competitive and so much comparison, politics, and like you were saying, there's so many like actual goals that we have to meet and stuff like that. So how, like, if you have any practical tips on how like we should stay grounded and connected to Krishna and consider that also as service. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just offer, I'll maybe I can share what happens at my work. I also have heads of my department who are challenging, can be very challenging, people at work. So, I think that we have to insulate ourselves a little bit at work. If I knew your specific question, specific situation, I may be able to answer better. But I find that if I just stay in my lane, I try not to get into office politics. Sometimes things happen that I feel are unfair to me, but I try to just, keep doing what I am doing. And I think one driver for me, Rashmi, is there is something at work that really makes me happy. So I try to just connect to that aspect of my work. So for example, for me, the thing that gives me the most happiness and that I feel is real service to Krishna is that when I have these patients who have really complicated things going on, and if I'm able to explain it to them and to their family members, and if I'm able to give them some solace, some, not even hope, just some solace, then I feel like I've done something at work. So for me, anything else that happens, is secondary. So I try to attach my consciousness to that. So if there's something at your work that you really enjoy doing, then I would say, connect to that. Does that answer your question, Rashmi?
Yes, that helps. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, because the material world is, I've changed jobs. I was in Richmond, I came here. The environment is not going to change. The ether is not going to change. So I feel like we have to somehow insulate ourselves from. Urmila Mataji says that if you get pulled in directions like that, things that you don't want to do, things that that are detrimental to your Krishna consciousness, then you should use being busy and use your children as excuses. I got something to do for my child. She actually said that in her class. So to get out of situations, But yeah.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Ramkatha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the very, very beautiful class and very inspiring answers. Some of the questions, without even asking you answered. Highly appreciate for that. One of the things that you just said is like, with respect to the office environment, like just do your part and don't get yourself dragged into the office schemes and politics. So that is so true. And also I was thinking about our services, chanting and all sometimes looks so difficult, but as I was hearing, like like it looks hearing is not that difficult. All I just need to do is just to click on the YouTube link, you know because even if you want to start like uninterestingly here or uninterestingly do, once you start, you will be hooked up into it, just like how for the material things also we get hooked up easily. So, but it may take few more minutes more given my own conditioning, but still eventually we get hooked up. So it is not that difficult given the amount of association we have. Some or other way, if we can associate with devotees, we'll be again, slowly absorb ourselves into Krishna conscious activities more easily. That was also another lesson. Like, because as you are saying, like, I am hearing that, I'm hearing from this devotee. So, yes, thinking like it is possible. This is Prabhupada's mission's amazing thing is like, people who are like you and me can do it. Like, if some other devotees can do, then I feel that I can also do, because obviously we can't compare with great devotees, but of course you're all great, but I doesn't mean that, like, but still humanly available before us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Prabhu, absolutely. I mean, every day I read the Bhagavad Gita inspiration that Bhayahari Prabhu sends, and I read the timestamp also on there. And I marvel every day, at Prabhu's dedication. So we have contemporary examples of devotees who are dedicatedly following the path. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And one question is like your presentation is so amazing with the slides and all beautiful pictures. So, with your presentation, the slides itself, you are touching the hearts of people. And then added to that is your own presentation, explanation, and all those things. Where did you get such a pictures? Like later, we also need to present. So,
Prabhu, I have a paid Chat GPT account, and today I use Chat GPT as my pet. So I instructed it for many hours. First, it gave me a picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wearing earrings. So then I told it, no, he doesn't wear earrings. Then I gave Chat GPT a picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I wanted. Then he it inserted it, but made the body and the head disproportionate. So after many struggles, I was able to get ChatGPT to comply. But many of the pictures I generated, I told ChatGPT, this is in Jagannath Puri, it's in the 1500s, it's conversation.
Good, you're training ChatGPT.
Yes,
Wonderful.
Mataji. Because there were no publicly, normally I just Google, and there were no publicly available pictures for many of the things. So I just,
Perfect.
but I can share with you, Prabhu, and I can help you if you need any help.
Good for the future devotees.
sure,
Yeah.
Mate, because I haven't paid anything for
No,
pictures. I don't.
I can help
So,
you.
yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Mataji. But definitely an inspiration with your PPT and these things.
Thank you.
Also, can you share your PPT,
Yes,
Kishore?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, I can. Yeah.
So, Hare Krishna, Kishori Radha, this is Piyali. I wanted to say it was an eloquent presentation, and it's extremely clear that you put in a lot of work to put this together, string this together, everything, the audio flow, the visual flow, every bit of it. And hopefully I'll see you presenting a lot more. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Piyali. I'm grateful for the inspiration. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Kishore Radha, would you be sending the PPT?
I can put it on Localites, Mataji.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
On Localites after this. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you all.
I think we are done, right? Yeah. Looks like the class is over, no prasadam, but we love the class. All right. So let's say our prayers to the devotees who joined. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय
जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की
जय
जय, किशोरी राधा माता जी की
जय
जय।
Jai.
Jai Hari
हरि
Prabhu
हरि
Indulekha Mataji ki.
बोल, हरि
Jai.
हरि
Jai.
जय
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे।
Take punishment now.
Nursing the prayer first.
Right, right.
Okay. Hari bol.
हरि बोल। हाँ, somebody is saying something, or Sri Padma is saying.
Parmir Radha is saying, I wish virtual prasadam hota.
I know, right?
Technology
Gigabytes.
develop in a way that you throw from your laptop.
हाँ, हाँ. Now,
No,
Sit
Kishore
with your
Radha
own
was once
prashad.
saying we could have one of, what are those called? अरे तो जो air से आते हैं, what do you call
Drones,
them?
drones.
Drones, हाँ. We could have drones flying, and we could have a Rockwell drone or Nitya Satyasuta drone flying all over the place and dropping prasadam.
Mataji, just for
One day.
inspiration, आप बताइए आपने क्या बनाया है?
अच्छा, मैं अभी ना I'm trying the butternut squash cake and
Oh,
brownies.
wow.
So
Okay.
let's see.
We are coming.
हाँ, आ जाओ आ जाओ. अब
What are
जैसा ही
the
बनेगा खिला दूंगी.
what are the hoodlickers
कुछ नहीं
having?
आएगा. हाँ?
ध्रुव आ रहा है क्या?
नहीं,
अच्छा.
नहीं. I'm trying to finish up stuff in the fridge ना.
अच्छा. वही सोचो, इतना हेल्दी.
I know, right? तो बहुत सारा बटरनट रखा हुआ था, तो मैं बोला अब उसका कल चिप्स भी बन गए, उसका सूप के लिए भी थोड़ा रखा है, अब बाकी का क्या करूं?
Wow.
So I looked up this recipe, and interestingly, it's a flourless recipe. No maida, no atta, no nothing. So I'm trying this for first time. So
That's
पकोड़े नहीं
impressive.
उसके?
हाँ, हाँ, I
पकोड़े
know.
नहीं?
रुको पकोड़े रह गए, पर थोड़ा सा unhealthy हो जाता ना. I mean, I don't know. Brownies is a little bit healthier.
राम कथा प्रभु, welcome back.
I know. Welcome back. हाँ, प्रभु
Thanks,
जी.
Prabhu. Thanks, Mataji.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank
Hindu
you,
auntie,
Prabhu.
maybe we
Wow.
can stop the YouTube.
अरे
Okay.
वो भी हो रहा है, अभी भी रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है क्या?
This is all being recorded. Yeah.
ओ कृष्णा कृष्णा.
Trim it and then upload.
एक हाँ, वो तुम करोगे, कौन करेगा? तुम कर देना एडिट.
मुझे फिर लिंक लगेगी उसकी माता जी.
तो
वीडियो
who's going to
लगेगा.
do this? My husband is recording it.
I have no idea.
हरी हरी.
I think Prabhuji was recording it. Yeah, Mataji.
Oh.
I can I? No.
Okay.
How do we?
I'm only seeing YouTube, but not recording anywhere all through.
Oh, अच्छा रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं है क्या?
नहीं नहीं रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही
नहीं
है
हो रहा
दीदी.
है ना.
हो
Live.
रहा है.
The
Live
content
on
of this
YouTube.
meeting is being sent
Yep.
to YouTube.
Yep.
So it's live streaming चल रहा है.
हाँ.
प्रभुजी के कंप्यूटर से है आई थिंक. प्रभुजी होस्ट है.
Yes. Ketchup. Tomato ketchup.
अरे मैंने बोला तो, पता नहीं रुका कि नहीं रुका. देखो तो.
नहीं अभी भी चल रहा
नहीं
है.
अभी भी चल रहा है.
भैया.
I guess we should then hang
ठीक है
up.
ठीक है ठीक है. ओके. राम कथा प्रभु जी.
Fortunately.
ओके हरि बोल.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for
Everyone
stopping
stay
this
warm.
prasadam elaboration. I feel miserable.
हरि हरि.
हरे
Hare
कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा. Do you leave?
Stay warm, everyone.
Stay warm. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You should add some paneer.